Padre Pio, an Italian Christian Catholic, born, raised in the Christian Catholic Church, they send a message to the Vatican. They send a message to the Vatican saying, you have a monk who is a priest breaking the rules of the Vatican. Papa, this little monk is breaking your rule. What is it? His mass service is 3 hours, like the bishop. He said, what? 3 hours? No such thing. Who is this monk? He sends a representative. The representative of the Vatican is standing at the end of the church, and he's huffing and puffing and looking at his watch every 5 minutes. Padre Pio is on the altar with his back to the faithfuls. He heard that representative murmuring in his heart. He heard him, Padre Pio. What was he not so happy about? When will you finish? He's saying it in his heart. When will you finish? It's almost 3 hours. Padre, on the altar, with a very, very soft tone, he said, not to him, but indirectly, he's saying it to the Lord, and he's saying, Lord, tell him to wake up. He said, when you are in the presence of the Lord, you don't look at your watch. When you are in the presence of the Lord, you are in eternity. Eternity, time does not exist. Time does not exist. The Lord preached in the wilderness for 3 days. Don't say Bishop Murray talks for too long. I'm trying to get to the Lord. He preached for 3 days. After 3 days, he said, they're all hungry, they're all tired. So he said to his 12 apostles, feed them. Man, if there was anybody genius in the midst of all of them, with all of respect, I don't want him to be upset with me, but none of them was genius. The Lord said, feed them. He gave an order. If anybody said, in your name, Lord Jesus, I'll feed them all, he would have done the miracle, not the Lord Jesus. But none of them. They looked, and Philip, the one whose eyes is always open like a projector, he looked and he started using his heads like all we do. He said, Lord, even if we get all the bread of Baalbek, did you get that one? The good old Lebanese bread. Even if we get all the Middle Eastern bread, it won't be enough to feed. Look at the multitude. They're in the thousands. You know, prior to that, the Lord said, I am the bread, the living bread that descended from heaven. They didn't get it. You know what they said to the Lord? They said, why don't you release them, Lord, and send them to these little villages? When you read it in English, little villages doesn't make too much sense, not too much clarity in it. But in Arabic, ضيعة. Or in the Lebanese accent, ضيعة. But it's ضيعة, not ضيعة. It is a ضيعة. In Arabic, the word ضيعة literally means lost. It derives from the word ضائع. ضائع means lost. In other words, why do they call those little villages lost? Because they are so tiny, so little, you won't even see them on the map. They are lost. So they call them lost, literally in Arabic. They are so tiny. They said to the Lord, send the people to be lost. It took him 3 days to gather them. He sweated it out. It took his blood to gather people, and the disciples, with a blink of an eye, said to the Lord, just let them be lost. So let's shorten the mass, and let's shorten the sermon. In Assyrian we call it shalala balala akachet la dayala. Very hard to translate into English. Come quick, leave quick. Why leave quick? Because people are tired. It's Sunday night, Bishop. They have to go to work tomorrow. They want to have some rest. So let them go away from you, Lord, because they can't rest in you. They'll have to rest in the world. Send them quickly. Bring them quickly to Jesus and let them go quickly, please. It's a crime to leave them with the Lord for 2-3 hours. It's a crime. But it's not a crime to leave them with Satan for the rest of the week. Wow. And we want to be seated at his right hand and left hand and come to church like a drive-through. You come to this church, as long as the bishop lives, you will sleep here. Get it? If I truly love you, I have to keep you as much as possible with